Wendy Pedersen. I'm honored to be here on the unceded Coast Salish territory, and I'm putting my 100% support behind the call for an Aboriginal Healing and Wellness Centre with intergenerational housing at the corner of Gore and Hastings in the shamefully empty, provincially owned building there that's been empty for about 15 years or longer. A year ago, I also want to acknowledge that about a year ago now, Homeless Dave did a 36-day hunger strike to stop gentrification. And also want to honor the hundreds of other residents who've been working tirelessly to save their community. I've lived my entire adult life and brought up 2 children about 3 blocks away from Hastings and Maine. And I'm in touch every day with people who see the city's social mix policy, the social mix theory, as a ruse to justify more condos in the community. So as for the lab, like others, I support CCAP and the Low Income Caucus's amendments. I don't work for CCAP anymore, and I haven't for 2 years, by the way, just to let you know. But I also want to put what's happening in the neighborhood in the context of what we see when we're on the ground there every day. United We Can is moving out of the neighborhood. It's an anchor low-income business in the community. It's gone. The cop shop is city-owned. It's empty. It should be 100% social housing, and we've heard that it could be leased to a San Francisco company, a software company, who will then figure out the building. Stephen Littman, a notorious reno-victor, is just got a hold of his 10th hotel, and he's converting those hotel rooms out of low-income people's reach. Retail gentrification is out of control. It's talked about on Facebook constantly by downtown Eastside residents. There's 5,000 people that need to have their housing replaced in those SRO units. There's 730 people that are homeless. The developers, I believe, are in charge of BC Housing. Bob Rennie is on their board.
Ms. Pedersen.
This is related.
Ms. Pedersen, you just asked me to interject.
Stop interrupting.
So you've asked me to interrupt and more vigorously.
Stop her clock.
But you slandered me. I'm not slandering
everybody.
So
I'm not slandering.
So maybe we could just.
So
cut off the investors.
condos are flooding into the downtown east side.
What I would ask, and I'll give you more time, right?
Is Bob Reddy not on the board?
So if I could just ask you to stick to the facts.
That is a
On
fact.
the
Bob Reddy is on the board of
of
BC
plan.
Housing, is he not?
Thank you, Ms.
Are you
Pedersen.
done? Okay. So, as I was saying, the developers seem to be in charge of BC Housing now because there are developers on the board of directors. BC Housing has declared that they won't build any social housing in the downtown east side. This is extraordinary control that I think developers have over poor people's lives. Condos are flooding into the neighborhood, some created by the same people that are in control of BC Housing. 1,000 condos were approved, condo units were approved during the course of the planning process. All of these things are adding up to pressure on the downtown east side. So the city's responded with their lab, and there's nothing in there about rent controls in the SROs. And rent controls could be tied to yearly SRO licenses. There's nothing in there to control retail gentrification. I see massive corporate welfare in the form of the land lift on Hastings East and the special sites. There's already the development happening in Chinatown and probably soon in Thornton Park. There's nothing firm around the 1900 scattered sites proposal. Councillor Tang said tonight that there's no rent subsidy, like there's no guarantee that there's rent subsidies, but it's supposed to be in the plan as part of the displacement plan for the downtown east side, and it's not even guaranteed. The 60-40 social mixed rental zone, I do support that, but because I do see it, like others, as the sole thing that we seem to be able to get as a possible rate of change mechanism, but I'm really nervous about it. I don't know if it'll hold back development until we can get the different governments in place to get the housing that we need. I think it'll be terrible if it actually works, because it'll only deliver, as Jean pointed out, 14, I can say Jean's name now, right? Okay, only delivered 1,467 units at welfare over 30 years. And that's if we're lucky, because it's only a target in the plan and it's not a law. And we don't trust a target because the downtown Eastside housing plan was full of targets, and none of those targets got met except for the condo targets. So I want to appeal at this very last minute that you strengthen the future of the low-income community and strengthen the 60/40 zoning by changing the definition to apply across the board that social housing be developed at the welfare rate, 100%. And we just had a clarification at dinner about the definition in Appendix N. So in Appendix N, it says, point A, housing in which incomes with households with incomes below core need. Basically, the legal definition of social housing that you're putting forward is hills, which is $850 a month. So that's not solid enough for us. So we want the legal definition to be at welfare rate, at income assistance level and pension level. And that should occupy 100% of the dwelling units. CCAP has another definition there that you could look at, but that's basically what you're giving us as a legal definition is hills. So I'd like to remind you of the support that we have for this change of the welfare rate definition. Please don't ignore the 6,000 signatures on that petition. It doesn't take us long to do that. And actually, we've never really organized for a civic election in the downtown Eastside since Vision took over, or Cope took over with Larry Campbell. And we haven't. But it wouldn't, 6,000 signatures shouldn't be ignored, even though they're mostly poor people. Jenny and Libby also called for it in their letter, that you change the definition to be at welfare rate. The majority of the speakers that are here are calling for it, and I just got a copy of Ray Spaxman's speech where he is calling for it as well, and he actually quotes in his speech that he couldn't make tonight, he quotes the terms of reference for the whole planning process, which has a definition of low income, which is exactly what we're talking about here at welfare rate. So we signed the terms of reference. I was one of the signatories along with Mike Harcourt and Penny Ballum all along, thinking that we were operating under this presumption that we were talking about low income as welfare rate. So you can look at the original terms of reference. And then we just found out, actually, at dinner tonight, now we know that the legal definition is at hills. I predict that the low-income community won't accept the results without the adjustment of the definition, and will be forced to continue to fight for this because we want our 5,000 units of social housing in the downtown Eastside.
Petersen, that's your